Hi everyone, it's Jenny from UCHA and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to make for you some really easy and delicious vegetable soup. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we're going to need our grapeseed oil to cook the vegetables in, salt and pepper for seasoning, as well as I've got some oregano today, bay leaves of course, and I really like this seasoning. It's an organic seasoning that has 24 different herbs and spices. It's really, really good. I've got a can of tomatoes. I have my vegetable bouillon, which I've got in a cup of boiling water, so that's just diluting and getting all mixed up in there. And then I've got celery, onion, cabbage, mushrooms, and zucchini. And feel free to change these vegetables up however you like. Let's get started. Okay, so I've got my pot on the heat and I've just added some grapeseed oil. I like to use quite a bit of grapeseed oil just to make sure that nothing sticks, and we know that in advanced nutrition it's a very high fat diet, so don't be afraid of using lots of oil in your food. So I've got celery, onion, and cabbage. I'm going to add the celery and onion first. And just get that moving around in there. Get it all coated in the oil. And then we'll add the rest of our cabbage. And we're just going to let this cook until everything is quite tender. So probably, I would say 5 minutes, maybe 6-10 minutes. Okay, so this is getting softer and the vegetables are getting more tender. I don't want them to be too tender, but I'm going to add now my softer vegetables. So I'm going to add my zucchini and my mushrooms to the mix and get them all incorporated and start cooking down as well. So stir everything in here. And then what I like to do next is actually start to season the soup. So I've got my oregano. Just gonna sprinkle some oregano in there. I like to be quite liberal with my spices. That's just my preference, but if you don't like lots of spices in your food, don't feel like you have to add a whole bunch. And then I've got my Bragg's Organic Sprinkle Seasoning. I really love this stuff. It's really, really good. And it goes on just about anything. I marinate with this. I use it in my sauces, my stews, my soups. When I'm barbecuing, I use it all the time. So just stir all that around. And the reason why I add my seasoning now is so that the flavors can warm up in the oil and the heat, and they can actually start to come through the food, and it'll sort of add a deeper dimension to the seasoning. I'm actually going to season again once the soup is ready, so we'll get lots and lots of seasoning in here. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper in here now too. When I say a little bit, I mean a lot. So I'm just going to keep cooking this around. And now everything has gotten to the point where it is quite tender. I'm going to add my can of diced tomatoes. There's no salt. There's no nothing junky in here, just goodness. So add that to the mix. Okay, so now I'm going to stir the tomatoes in. Just like that. And then we'll let this get hot back up to temperature, and then I'm going to add my soup stock so that we can start making this into a soup and less of a ragu. Okay, so my soup has gotten up to temperature, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a couple of bay leaves. I like the taste of bay leaves, and I heard once on a cooking show that whoever gets a soup with the bay leaf in it has to do the dishes after dinner, so you can apply that to your family if you want to. So I've got my soup stock here. It's all diluted into my cup of boiling water, so I'm going to add that into the pot. And we're just going to stir this around. So I'm just going to continue to stir this, get all those delicious flavors incorporated. And then what I'm going to do is I've got some water that I've just boiled, the same water that I used to dilute the vegetable broth. So I'm just going to add some water into here to sort of cover all the veggies so that everything is happy and soaking up the delicious juices. I like my soups quite thick, so that should be enough water for me. So now what I'll do is I'll actually put the lid on here, just tilted, so that some steam can still escape, but I'm actually gonna let this sit for the day. Like, I'll actually leave it on the stove with the heat on very, very low and just let everything come together. And when I get home from work tonight, this is gonna be an absolutely delicious meal. So when this is all ready to go, I'll serve it in a bowl with lots of healthy olive oil. So you want to use a cold pressed extra virgin olive oil and salt and pepper on top. I also like to use avocado on top of my soup, so I'm making sure I get lots of healthy fat in my diet. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe and hope you have a great day.